everyone, and welcome. I am joined by my beautiful friend Kiki, and we are going to be talking about the crossover between Celtic Reiki and the Akashic Records and what you have coined as root to rise. How are you doing today?
Very excited. Thank you for being here. And yeah, I love this topic or topics rather.
Yes, I'm very excited. They're some of my favorite interests as well. Okay. I love how I didn't notice this earlier, your earrings are matching my shirt. Look it
Oh,
up. Coordinating queens.
yes,
Yeah.
I love it. Feeling
Yes.
very green today.
Yes. Giving earth tones with the Celtic Reiki. Okay.
Yes.
So how did you get into Celtic Reiki specifically? Because I know a lot of people know about Reiki, but maybe not the addition of the Celtic part. And what does that mean?
Yes. I love this question. Honestly, my master teacher when I was going through Usui, which is the traditional mainstream, I feel like a lot of folks know that. It's been around the longest as far as I know. Um, Her teacher was offering Celtic Reiki, and without skipping a beat, I just got this full body zing and was like, sign me up for that. Knew nothing about it, and it was amazing. We work with the energy of the trees. The symbols are completely different. So we use the ancient Druidic alphabet, Ogham, and it was designed, created in the UK by Martin Pentecost. So completely different origin, different symbols, and it feels different. And I've had students go through it with me who have also come from Usui or work with multiple different varieties of Reiki, and they can sense and feel the difference. They've described Usui Reiki as more light and ethereal and kind of freeing. And Celtic Reiki is definitely more nurturing, more grounding. They don't feel as untethered, and not in a bad way, but just the feelings are very different, but they all blend and work together.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, I would imagine working with tree spirits because it's more like Reiki of the earth, if
Yes,
you will. Yeah.
yes, yes. And I mean, Mother Gaia and the root system. I got to meet my mother tree, and then the trees that came forward for me during my attunement sessions were Grandmother Willow and Sister Birch. And I thought that was so beautiful. They have a very special place in my heart. I had a willow tree in my backyard growing up, and I would swing under it. I had a birch tree on the side of our house, and we used to watch it with my grandmother. We had like bird feeders and everything, and my brother and I would play tag and accidentally, birch peels. Sometimes the
Oh,
paper
yeah.
would come off, and we would write like secret messages and hide it in our treehouse. So like it took me right back to childhood. And we work with a variety of trees, and each one has different healing attributes. And they each come forward during healing sessions, both for myself and with clients, with exactly what's needed. And you can feel really held energetically and safe. It's just a really amazing experience. And for me, in sessions that I hold, a lot of times the fairies come through and a lot of woodland creatures, sometimes fantasy animals, mythical creatures come through, and like they all have exactly the right message for the client at the right time. It's so fun to work with.
When you were talking about those childhood memories of the treehouse and like writing on the birch paper. Okay. So I was thinking that I bet Celtic Reiki really helps you, one, connect to your inner children with more of those like fantasy-esque pieces, but also helping you with your nervous system because a lot of people who are empathic, neurodivergent, just sensitive people have dysregulated nervous systems that have been there since childhood. Okay, and that's why a lot of people respond from behaviors that started in childhood, like reacting, if you will,
Hmm.
like big emotional responses. And so working with the trees, I could see, hey, this is going to help your inner children feel safe and grounded
100%.
and centered.
Yes. I mean, I've heard of forest bathing before I got into Celtic Reiki. I've always loved being outside. Like, I'm an 80s baby. We didn't have internet and cell phones growing up, so it was
That's
go,
well
go out,
time.
go outside, come home when the street lights come on. That was they had commercials for like at 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are? As a reminder for adults to get their
Hmm.
kids. Completely different day and age. So I was always climbing a tree. I would be up in a tree reading my book. We had the tree house. Like it was just, like you said, safe and nurturing and sacred, I guess, in a way, because those are memories I'll always have. And now it took Celtic Reiki to kind of remind me and bring me back to that magic. And spending time in nature is more intentional now. And connecting with certain trees, like physically touching their bark, hugging trees. You know, you probably hear people, "Oh, you're a tree hugger?" Yes, I
Mhm.
am. Yeah, I have people, "Excuse me, can you take a picture of me?" And they're like, "Okay." And I'm hugging the tree, smiling, and but they all smile and they giggle and they're like, "Okay." And I'm like, "Try it," or sit with your back against a tree. Trees have auras just like we do, and we can ask permission. They're sentient beings and we blend, and they can take a lot from us without us even knowing it that we didn't need. Like, put that down, girl. You don't need it anymore. And they can give us life. I mean, just from a science point of view, we have a symbiotic relationship with them. They take our carbon dioxide, we take the oxygen. Like, it's a beautiful relationship. So then, of course, we would have one on an energetic plane, and it's very, very fun to work with.
I have this big tree that I'm looking outside right now out of my window that's like looking at me and like, when's the last time you hugged a tree? And I was like, oh, you know what? I haven't been spending time with my tree friends and I need to do that. Okay.
Yes, yes. And even if you're not, like, say you don't have a walking trail close or a park, you can bring nature into your house, whether it's a physical plant. I know I have cats, so I can't always do that, or I have to put them higher up. Even pictures of trees, you can take yourself on a visualization. Like, it all matters, and your nervous system will receive it because of your intention. Yeah.
You just made me think about I have a tapestry that I haven't hung up yet from my old apartment into my new apartment. And
Yay.
it's a big, giant, like chakra tree. And it was a really grounding piece in my
Yes.
apartment. And it's just a tapestry of a tree. And it's
Yes.
still like, oh, the roots. Okay.
I mean, you've probably seen like all the imagery of the tree of life. It doesn't matter what ethnicity or what religion or anything, what name or what tree. I know there's debate on the tree of life being an oak tree, or was it a yew tree? Like, it was a big tree. That's all I know. And it's amazing. And it connects heaven and earth, right? We are the
Hmm.
bridge. Um, and when we work with Celtic Reiki, we pull up through the Earth Star chakra, we pull up through our lower chakras first. And I remember when I was learning Usui, we were taught crown down first.
Hmm.
Both are correct. Neither is wrong. It's just, what do you feel led to do? I work both ways. And then we also go into the Celtic spiral, where you actually start from your heart chakra and spiral out through the seven main chakra centers. And that is a very interesting and unique experience, both from a practitioner's point of view and to receive. So we go into that in more detail in my
Oh,
courses.
lovely. So you have a program called Roots
Yes,
Rise. Okay,
I
which
do.
we're going to get to in a second. But in regards to the program, how do you think that working with the trees helps you as an energy healer, whether that's for yourself or for other people, or a practitioner, a mentor, a teacher, a coach? How does working with trees support you with your energy healing abilities? Because they're their own conscious beings.
Right. They come in for me like guides and guardians. And you had mentioned the Akashic Records as well. And I was a little hesitant to go in. And I feel like the healers I've talked to have had that same hesitation
About the
with the
Akashic Records.
records, the
Yep.
Akashic Records. Yeah. Will I be untethered? How will I get my way back? Like, I don't want to say there's a fear, but there's definitely a hesitation or a little bit of resistance around that. And I know I had a few sessions with you. I had read Linda Howe's book. I started experimenting, and I noticed every single time I went into my records, the willow and birch tree were with me. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I always felt grounded, and I always knew to come back to them, and I would come back to my body. So I was like, wow, that's fun. And so then I started experimenting with a couple clients, like, hey, I want to blend these together. And they're like, no problem. They came to me like it was a regular healing session, and blending the Celtic Reiki kind of like bookends on the beginning and end after doing like deep clearings and getting messages, and working with clearing contracts, bowel removals, cutting cords. There's some heavy stuff that comes up, but it's still light and fun, and we get through it because that's when we come back. But then I often come back and the clients are surrounded by like moss, and different trees have come in to be the anchor, not just for me, but for them. Some have had fairies that have come in and then like grown into real life, and the fairies have put their hands on the client, kind of sending healing, grounding, earth based energy while I'm up in the records working and moving energy. And then I come back. It was really cool. And then the transformations, like that experience live and of itself was so fun. But then hearing from them, like they're sleeping better, they're feeling lighter, their pain, like physical pain was removed, or they felt like they could ask for that promotion, or things fell into place financially for them that they were seeking and struggling with because they were forcing. So it kind of happened as a happy accident. Like the trees kept coming in for me. So then I started um, offering the sessions. I called them Roots and Records. And then I was like, wow, I feel like I've expanded. And then several of my clair abilities had also kind of unlocked or reawakened. So my clair audience became a lot clearer. I used to only hear like sounds, but then I
Mhm.
started hearing like words and full messages. Excuse me. And then for vision, I would see colors and bursts of light, but now I'm seeing like full scale, like movies on a screen or like the book of records and seeing like a whole life play out. So I'm coming back with so much clarity and detail. It was like my clairs were turned up to high definition. And then I can smell and taste now, depending on what the client needs to hear. But I was working with a client and I could taste like citrus, and they had a brunch with a whole bunch of citrus. There's one woman I could smell jasmine. It was a very distinct smell, and she's like, "Oh my God, that's my favorite flower." I was
Oh.
like, "It's like this is interesting." You know, without setting an intention, it was just naturally happening. Going back to the nervous system, I feel it felt safe, and like then my channel felt safe, and there wasn't this noise and chaos. So it was like they were already there, but everything was too crazy for me to hear them, feel them, sense them, or know. And then the second guessing went away too. Like I wasn't, is this me? Is this them? Am I making it up? It was like, no, that's for them. I need to share that with them. Or that's for me. Okay, got it. Thank you. You know?
Yeah. I feel like working with trees as well, as we said, they're their own sentient beings. So it's not only you coming in as a
Hmm.
practitioner, for yourself or other people, but then every single tree has its own healing capabilities and wisdom, ancient wisdom. They've been around for a long time and the network of Mother Gaia.
Yes. Well, and then just tapping into the Earth Star chakra and sending your grounding routine, like you're connecting with all the trees, right? And sometimes it's on this planet, and sometimes it's on a different planet. I was working with a woman, and she was very tapped into water planets, and we were riding pink dolphins. And then I was on my water dragon, and we're up on this floating island in the air. It was so fun and so magical. And the whole time we're having that experience, she said it felt like she had fairies inside, kind of knitting her heart together with leaves. So like there are these experiences happening both for me and for my client, and they're getting what they need. I'm receiving messages they need and share at the end. And I was like, this is so fun. Like, I need to share this with people.
And in the day and age in which we live in now, where we're in buildings 24/7, even me, as of recently, as you were talking, I was like, wow, I really need to get back out into nature because when I'm connected to the tree spirits or just Mother Gaia or, fairy energy, all these different things, or the elements, I end up living a much more whimsical life that's a lot more lighthearted instead of like being in these structures all the time that really just disconnects you from the magic that life has to offer. So the more time I spend out in nature, or it really does amplify those areas of my life and it makes it a lot more fun. But
Yes. I mean, we really weren't meant to be cooped up. And yes, it's winter. So I say that lightly, like, don't beat
Mhm.
yourself up because it is important to embrace that season. I feel like in our day and age and society, we've got that go, go, go. And it's a season we often want to skip, and we go right from fall to spring in our everyday life. And we don't have that recharge period, that rest, that look within. Okay, what do we need to change? So I've also, in working with Celtic Reiki, started to get more into the Celtic Wheel of the Year and more natural seasonal changes. So
Mhm.
I don't really observe the new year and the Gregorian calendar, and my body is so much happier because of it. Like this Chinese New Year, the Lunar New Year, it feels more natural and more connected to Earth and Mother Gaia, Grandmother Moon. Like we have moon cycles for a reason. So that feels better. Even when I launch programs and courses, I do it around the moon, and I don't launch excuse me, anything in January or February anymore. It it feels like it's forced, like I'm not ready. And I'm like, the trees aren't blooming, the birds
I was
aren't
gonna say
back.
even
Like,
the trees are taking
right?
a nap.
Right? Yeah.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll talk about the Akashic Records a little more too. When I, as a Akashic Record practitioner as well, when I first got started, I was extremely nervous about getting up into the quantum field and the ethers because one, I had a very dysregulated nervous system. My inner children were very nervous and very scared, especially with religious and cultural programming of these things are evil and spooky and scary and all this stuff had to be programmed. But if I had worked with tree or nature energy to begin with, it would have definitely given me that tethering that I need because I'd be like, oh, you know what? I can come back to this earth plane because even though a lot of people are like, I'm ready to check out, I don't want to be here. You say that until you start getting up in the ethers and you start kind of disconnecting from your human self and you're like, oh no, I gotta get back. Okay.
Yeah. Right? Comfort. What I know, what's normal.
Yeah, right. But I feel like working with the trees would have definitely helped me accelerate with feeling safe and opening up my intuitive and channeling abilities because it wouldn't matter how far I go out, I'm still connected to Mother Gaia here.
Right.
Yes.
And it's like I pop up and down so much faster. For me, I visualize going into the tree trunk and it's like an elevator.
Oh, love
To,
that. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then like I come back down through the elevator, and sometimes I open up and I'm underground and I'm in the root system instead of like actually on earth level. So I think that's super fun too. Um, and I'm open to a lot more. Before I was like so regimented. I had a checklist and like that was good. I went in, opened because I there were a couple times I forgot to close the records. I learned the hard way. I was like, why am I so tired? I forgot to close
Hmm.
my records earlier. So I've been in my records all day. Plus down here, my body was doing too much. So that was good for a pattern for me, like to open and close. But then like what I was doing up there also felt a little regimented. And I was like, I want to give myself permission to play, give myself freedom. Like you can't get it wrong. Like you were saying, I was raised in a very religious household. My dad was a pastor. So I was homeschooled for a bit. I think we share that similarity too.
Hmm.
And just kind of deprogramming, reprogramming, deciding what I believe in for me and what I'm really meant to do and living my purpose. And this came in like I was channeling through the Akashic Records about this program and how to create it, how to put it together, who it's for. I kept getting, yeah, the trees were helping me and providing guidance and wisdom. And they are so ancient. Some of the yew trees in the UK are over 2,000 years old. Like I want to go there physically and like put my arms around them
Hmm.
and feel that
Giving grandma
energy.
energy.
Right?
Great grandma energy.
Right? I
Yeah.
picture the big, was it Awa, the big tree from Avatar? Like every time I watch that now, post Celtic Reiki, I'm like, I just had tear up. It's
You're
so
like choking up. Yeah.
magical. Yeah, I'm like, not the tree.
Yeah. I do. I do. So let's talk a little bit more about Akashic Records for people that might be newer to that or practitioners that are interested in jumping into that modality. What are your thoughts on the Akashic Records? What do they mean to you?
I love them. I know they show up differently depending on the clients I work with, but I know I've seen a lot of cartoons and a lot of depictions of the big ancient library, right? It's your soul's
Hmm.
record of every iteration of every timeline. I am a big book nerd. Like I could get lost in a library. I love my books. So for me, I it's good that I have the
I know
trees
you'd
because
be like, girl, I read this book and this book and this book.
I know, and I'm like, what are you reading? Do you want to follow me on Goodreads? No.
Yeah.
So when I pop up, there isn't like a plane that I go to before I go in, or I know some folks meet clients in a certain place and go in together, or their client's higher self. So like there's a lot of freedom and flexibility. And I know it can be overwhelming. I think you and I have seen the same YouTube video. Was it Edgar Case? Like he did,
Mhm.
yeah, he did so many different readings in the Akashic Records, and there's just so much you can do. So fine tuning what I like to do and I enjoy doing and what I'm called to do really helped give me like a lane to stay in. So I'm not like purple squirrel when I'm up
Mhm.
there. Um, So that's where I come in. Like I'll do chakra scans. That seems really like where is the issue being stored in the body, and
Hmm.
that gives me direction and what needs to be cleared. I work with the seventh ray, which is the violet flame. So I love that. It's the flame of transmutation. So it can take some lower, more denser energy and transmute it into joy and happiness. It's so fun to work with. And yeah, there's just a lot you can do in the records. It's and like you said, it was a quantum field, which I'm learning more about on that angle. Um, I went in more of an intuitive, like higher self guide me. What am I meant to do here?
Hmm.
And would receive downloads for myself, and then started working with clients. Um, Cutting cords comes up, removing vows, contracts, any. I'm always guided, so it's different, but I'm guided by the client's higher self or their guiding guardian as they show up. Sometimes I'm like in a movie theater and it's the screen of records. So I see a piece of their life play out from a past life or maybe earlier on in this life. And they're meant to remember something about that or release something from it, or we rewrite it depending on what their higher self guides me to do. And that impacts them in this present timeline. So it's really fun. And nothing can be removed or cut or changed unless the work has already been completed. So I think that was really important for me to understand because I was like, oh, like not that I have the power, but like I didn't want to do anything wrong or
Hmm.
alter, so not so much with mine, but working with other people's energy, which I feel like I hear quite often from other healers as well. It's like if there's still a lesson in play, you won't be able to cut that cord, right? You won't be able to change that memory, remove that contract, etc. But you can still send loving healing energy to it, violet flame, Celtic Reiki, what have you, whatever modality you feel led to use. And you really can't get it wrong because your intentions are pure. And you can't, I don't know your beliefs on this, but I feel like you can't get into the records if you have impure intentions. It's like Reiki, you can't send it with malintent.
Hmm.
So does that answer the question? I think we were,
Oh, it does, yeah. I just want
oh,
to
okay.
kind of people a overview of what kind of is the Akashic Records, what can you do in there. It's really a big umbrella. You can do so much. It's really just information to the all. But like you were
Yeah.
saying, there's certain lanes that different practitioners work in, or different intentions, or just areas of focus. So I love what that you brought up, what you enjoy. So my next question is, that's all a little advanced.
Oh,
So but I love that because it shows people like, hey, this is what I'm going to be able to do because you can. This is accessible to anyone. Anyone can learn
yes.
new tools and techniques, right? It sounds like, oh my gosh, how do you do all that? Like practice and information and tools and techniques.
Yeah.
For your program, Roots to Rise, where we're blending Celtic Reiki and the Akashic Records, a lot of beautiful things. Do you have to have any background knowledge in Reiki or Akashic Records to begin with, or can you come in with zero background information?
So you don't need to know about the Akashic Records or Reiki to come in. I would say a base level of energy work, or like you've already started your awakening journey. Maybe you already have clients or you already work with another energy modality or a healing modality. Um, I do treat it like there are training wheels on in the beginning, and then we take them off, and some things might be a refresher, like the chakra system. Um, but I also weave it in a way where it's not overwhelming. That's why I wanted to stretch it out into 16 weeks where we're not just learning it, but we're practicing. We've got activities and activations. We've got practice partner sessions, some integration weeks built in. So you don't have to feel like you're behind or you need to catch up, or maybe you want to practice a little bit more with one tool or technique. So it's all baked in, kind of like a yummy pie. Um,
Like a tiered cake.
right?
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta.
Yeah.
And that's a great analogy, though. Like when you're baking, if you miss ingredients or you put them in the right direction, right? So I kind of baseline chakras, meridians, auric layers. We work on ourself first, clear the channel as best possible before we move in. And it's in three different phases. So we start out with Celtic Reiki, the first degree. So you got the introduction to the first six trees. You're getting used to the different frequencies of those trees while self-healing and clearing and just reconnecting. Maybe you haven't worked on yourself in a while, or you haven't had the time because you've been pouring out for all of your clients and your family and other areas. And you're like, oh, this is your chance to receive and to play and to just be held. And then we move into the Akashic Records, and that's layered. So, background history, like the three laws of karmic, the karmic lords, the violet flame, different prayers, or I resonate more with invocations, probably
Hmm.
because of my upbringing, but like I'm going to invoke the violet flame, I'm going to open the records, but I give the tools and resources. I'm not looking to make cookie cutter healers. So I always say tools, not rules, right? So here's how I do it. I would say try it at least a few times first before you start tweaking it. And all of these modalities work with each other. So they're going to blend with whatever you're already doing. We also do intentional clearing. So ancestral karma, financial wounds, which like we're clearing deep things throughout for each other, with each other. You're experiencing and being held in a variety of guided meditations. So you're learning less from me and more from you, your future self, your higher self, your guides and guardians, messages coming through from your spirit team, your trees. You get to meet your mother tree. And then the third one, the third phase, we move into where you step into Celtic Reiki secondary, the Celtic Reiki practitioner. We go into distance healing, how you can send it through time and space, and you learn six additional trees, and also how to blend them if you feel led to. So you could do just Celtic Reiki, you could offer just Akashic Records, you could blend the two together. So you'll learn to do all three by the end of our 16 weeks together. And when I ran this as my beta last year, students were already starting to weave things in throughout the program. So it's not like you have to wait till the end to start sharing it with your clients. They were offering little add-ons and practicing throughout with their live clients. And they were getting great feedback. And people love it because trees are so tangible. And you see them and then they're out in nature and then they start to notice, oh my gosh, I walk by this oak tree all the time. Oak is strong. Oak is like a doorway. I have a portal coming up in my life where I'm going to transition into something else. And they start to connect the dots. And it's super fun. I love working with trees. It's kind of like when you work with crystals, it's something you can hold or place on your
Hmm.
body. You can bring trees into your house. Like I have some pine drying out that naturally fell, and then I actually have been burning pine, kind of like you would sage or cedar, Palo Santo.
Hmm. Yeah. Would you say that your program is also beneficial for energy healers, practitioners that have been feeling kind of stalled out, whether it's their own personal development or with their clients? Because the way that the Akashic Records work is the more that you go within yourself, the more that you're able to access in others. So even in my thing I got going on over here, I just feel sometimes that I'm hitting a wall, and that's because my future self's like, "Oh, girl, we need to go in there and do some excavation," so that we have
It's
the data to like help somebody else with over here.
That is a very good point, and it's 1,000% true. Like, how can you lead someone through something you haven't gone through yourself? So that's why I love to start with like, let's go through our chakras. I don't care how many times you've done this before, you're a different person. Like, you're a different person already from the time you hit play on this video,
Hmm.
right? You've already changed perceptions, you've already started shifting and growing and expanding. And we were talking about this before we hit record. Like, when was the last time you invested in yourself? Whether it's a self-love day or a healing session, whatever it might be, it's something I feel, and I'm guilty of this too, gets put on the back burner. We're like, I'll get to it. I'll sign up. Let me take care of a few more clients, or let me take care of my pet, or let me take care of my loved one, and then all of a sudden, 3 or 4, 6 months or a year go by, and you haven't poured back into your own cup. So that's wwhere the burnout, the overwhelm, the how
It
am I
starts
going
to
to
show in your 3D reality for sure.
exactly. And it could be physically, like I hear so many healers that are like, oh, my hips hurt, my low back, everything's tight. And it's just that tension is you haven't taken care of yourself. You've got some buildup and you can't always clear it for yourself, right? You can't always
Mhm.
see, not that you have blinders on or not that you're ignoring it, like you're actually looking for it, but you just can't physically see everything someone else can. And it's really nice to be held after giving so much. And I felt called to work with healers specifically, practitioners, facilitators, those who hold space for others are often the ones that don't sign up to have their space held. And
Hmm.
it's so important. And how much better would it feel if your cup was full and overflowing and you were serving from that overflow, not that last little bit of dredges, and then there's nothing left for you.
Hmm. Not only that, I love that you brought up that you can have physical symptoms, but I have like people, me, other people, if you are not taking time to invest in yourself, it affects your finances.
Hmm.
It affects how many clients you're onboarding. It affects what you're able to do with your spiritual abilities, like your consciousness level, like all of that just kind of,
Yeah,
if
you hit
you,
a wall.
yeah.
You totally hit a wall. Yeah, and every time I've invested in myself, whether that be a program, a coach, a healing session, the universe has answered me like 10x. You know,
Hmm.
every time it's because I'm sending a signal, I'm worthy. I'm worth this more. Yes, more please. You know, the year that I joined a 1 year long coaching container, I doubled my revenue in my healing business. I was in a room with those people. I felt seen and heard. Like I was controlling my curriculum, my life curriculum. Like what did I want to putting into my mind, my body? Like what guidance did I need? And I think we're taught to go, go, go. And very rarely do we sit back and analyze what do I need for me,
Hmm.
right? Because we're always taking care of everybody else.
Absolutely. What do you think makes your program different than other, let's say, Reiki, which there's not a whole lot of Celtic Reiki out there, I will tell you as somebody who would search for it. And then me and Kiki aligned. But Celtic Reiki, the Akashic Records, like what makes you and your program different? But I'm going to say it before you do. Okay, and then okay, so I'm gonna toot your horn. So, what I love about Kiki is one, she's hilarious. I think the world needs so much more humor. It just brightens things up. It lightens things up, especially when we get into like self-awareness and development. It can be so heavy and just trudgy. I need to laugh. I need to
Mhm.
keep, okay? I need to have fun. It'd be silly because that's how I retain information a lot better. But you're also extremely professional. You're extremely knowledgeable. You're very intentional. You're always showing up in your absolute best capacity. I mean, as we can. Okay.
True story.
But the way that you curate things makes it very easy to ingest because you don't overwhelm people. Like you're very good at thoroughly explaining concepts in a fun way that's easy to intake, but also is going to give you every single thing that you need in order to make the progress that you're wanting to see.
Thank you.
Yes.
I feel very seen.
Yeah. Okay. I see you. Okay.
Thank you.
Well, that's also
Yeah.
why we friends. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
I mean for other reasons as well, but I appreciate how great of a leader you are, not only for other people, but in your own life.
Thank you. And that's important for us to be our leaders for ourselves first, right? How can
Hmm.
we, whether it's the household leader or the leader in your community, or, like, these are all different hats that we put on. But when was the last time we were like, I'm going to take the lead in my own life. I'm going to choose this and choose that. And I think things are very heavy in the world. We all can sense it, empaths, intuitives, like we are understanding it on a deep level. And it's important to remember to have hope and that you are in charge of your own reality. You have choices, you have options, you are never stuck. You might feel that physically, that's nervous system reaction, which we can always choose other paths and give ourselves other tools to work through. But I mean, the main thing about the program, I love watching the micro transformations all along the way. And then, yes, we all want to serve more people. We want to reach more people. So I mean, the number one thing is I haven't seen or come across anyone else blend Celtic Reiki and the Akashic Records first. So it was a very unique program. I wanted it to be immersive. So it's not just here's a course, go watch the videos. That's not super fun, right? Community is what we're all trying to create for ourselves in our business, and what we got into healing to do is to help people. So I wanted that container for you guys to feel held, and then you've got the live. group calls, the activations. So even if it's conversations, we're being activated. Things are being said that we need to hear. And, fun, quirky questions, journal prompts, guided journeys, like tapping back in, reconnecting to that fun, that magic, that whimsy, and just working on yourself is the best project that you can ever work on, right? We're not here to get it done. There's no, you need to be fixed. You're not broken. This is just, oh, this is really fun. My heart needs this. Kind of like when I just raised my hand to sign up for Celtic Reiki, I didn't care. I didn't ask questions. I didn't need to know how many modules or group activations or like who created it or what are the symbols. It was just sign me up, right? My body was just like already there. So that's kind of the reaction that I'd like to create for this program, whether you hear the name Root to Rise and you're like, oh, that's interesting, or Celtic Reiki activated something, or you're a big nature lover, you're a tree hugger, or you're like, oh, I've always wanted to learn the Akashic Records, but I haven't felt safe, or I haven't connected to the right person with the right energy, or everything feels like it's so up here. Whatever the case may be, like I really wanted to create something where everyone felt safe and welcome because we're doing deep work at the same time, like you mentioned. We're clearing, but
Mhm.
yes, we are gonna laugh. We're gonna have fun. Heck, I've even cried like because things are so powerful and moving through me for what's being cleared for everyone. So like emotions are real and they're meant to be embraced. Like emotions are energy in motion. I always tell my folks if it's coming up, it wants to come out, just allow it. Curiosity, observation, no judgment. We don't need to label it, which is so big in our we need to label it, put it in a box. No, just let it float on by. It's okay.
Yeah. What I'm hearing from this is we are really going to get in and recalibrate our own system to kind of like upgrade everything,
Yes.
which is then going to have an overpour into client work, creating your reality, being able to navigate the 3D in a much more lighthearted and grounded way. But it
Yes.
really helps in all areas, is what this is supporting with.
So I actually came up with my own framework called the tree code method,
Hmm.
where we go through, and I'm a visual person, so I visualize it as a spiral. And it's a repeatable framework. Whether you finish the program, I don't want to leave you like, okay, now what? Right. So this is something you can take yourself through, and it will get faster the more that you go through it. So we root, so we feel very grounded. And then things are revealed because we feel safe, things are settled, we can see things and observe things that we may not have been able to see. We release. So that's where we do a lot of the work in the Akashic Records, release what no longer serves us. And then we rest. We need to rest and let that settle before we rise. Right. So then we're going to slowly step into that next pillar of leadership, that next level healer. Maybe you are doing a lot of one-to-one work and you want to do one-to-many and you want to do group work or you want to go online, like whatever that next out of your comfort zone is for you. This is where you feel comfortable and confident and empowered to step into that. And then you get to recharge. You get to pour back into yourself. This is this part, rest and recharge are the steps I feel we skip over the most. We don't rest, we go right into the next thing and then we don't focus on recharging and refilling our own cup and then we repeat from the ground and every time we're moving up and out just like branches of a tree as it grows up and out closer and closer to the sun, but if your roots aren't deep you're gonna fall over. Anytime the wind blows you'd be like
Yeah.
so deep roots. Oak trees can go so high because they go so low, so we go deep first and you can do it simultaneously. You don't have to wait. And this can be done in a day. This can be done in 7 weeks. We're going to go walk the whole path of the tree code method in the course with intentionality. And each person sets their own intention. So you're empowered, you're in charge. I give the tools and resources. And at the end, you'll be a Celtic Reiki practitioner and can share this. You'll be an Akashic record healer, and you have the option to blend them.
I love how long is your program?
16 weeks to 4 months with me.
Yes. Okay. So what I'm hearing too is we've got activations, we've got journeys, we've got journal prompts, we've got group coaching calls, you've got curriculum. It's really a robust program because as someone who is neurodivergent, I need variety. Okay, that is the best way that I learn. Just a lot of different components coming together, like interwoven, just to keep my dopamine levels up. Okay, and keep me excited about everything. And I think that you do a fantastic job about that. It's not just like, hey, I'm gonna come on and read these PowerPoint slides. It's like, no, girl, we getting into it.
Yes.
Yes, and
Yes.
practice partners.
Yeah, so we'll break up. I'll guide the first couple, and then you'll be practicing on each other in real life, clearing real things, experiencing real things for yourself. So you're testing the waters and trying things out with training wheels on, asking questions, and deciding how you want to use this and how this will manifest in your business. If or maybe it's just for your own healing right now, and then later on you might add it to your business, or it could evolve into something else. You know, there's it's limitless, right?
Hmm.
Limitless potential. We're all made of stardust.
When I tell you, as a practitioner, okay, Akashic Record practitioner, when I first started, what I would tell younger me is, hey girl, you really need to find people who are on a similar wavelength and path community to practice
Mhm.
with. Because reading for someone who is on a spiritual development journey is way different than somebody who's not. And that's where a lot of the fear and the imposter syndrome comes from. And it's a lot harder to read people like that. It's so much easier if you're like, oh, we're on the same vibe. Okay. And that gives you a lot more confidence as a reader, especially in the beginning, if you're newer to the records of like, oh, yeah, it's not as intensive as people make it seem sometimes. Like, it is actually a lot easier.
Yes. And funny story, I haven't done an energy trade in probably 2 or 3 years. Just the people that have reached out, I just have had a no, or my plate's been full, or I wasn't in the right space, or it was just not the right time for whatever reason. This felt really good. And we swapped energy, wrote reviews for each other. And I remember her reaching back out and she was like, I wasn't sure. I loved Celtic Reiki, the name Celtic because I'm Celtic, love fairies. And she's like, I just am so happy at how grounded I was afterwards. She's like, because I've done other sessions and I still feel like, I guess, I don't know if they didn't bring me back down or I didn't come back all the way, but I've been very like up in the clouds.
Hmm.
And on the flip side, when she was reading me, she was like, I can't tell you how refreshing it was to work on someone who's already been doing the work and it's not so heavy and thick and dense and negative. Not that that's a bad thing, but if that's who you're serving, it is refreshing to, okay, do I need to shift who I'm serving? Like, is it weighing me down? Or do I just need to take better care of myself or mix it up and serve a few different client avatars? So I thought that was super interesting.
I will tell you from personal experience in working with Kiki over the past couple of years and just our friendship that this will fundamentally change your whole entire system and who you are working with because of the type of teacher you are is so like, let's have fun. Let's laugh. Let's bring joy to it. Let's not make it serious, okay? And then what that does, it actually shifts all of your relationships in your 3D. It shifts the clients you're working with. It really changes everything. It's important to have a leader who is energetically where you want to be. And that's what I see with you.
Yes. Yes. Who are you working with? Who are you allowing access to your energy? Where are they? What have they gone through? And how can I get there?
Yeah. Oh,
Love
well,
that.
maybe we could speak on too of why you decided to go these two paths. Like why did we decide to like interfold these modalities in your own life?
Yeah, the willow and birch always showed up in my Akashic records. And I thought there was something to that, especially since I could pop in and out faster with them. And when I started offering it, it was on a whim. It was one of those, what do you call, happy accidents? And I offered it to a friend, and their response, I mean, I went in with no expectations, right? I was like, here's a session. It's been really fun for me. I don't know how it'll feel for you on your end, but let's try it. And they were totally game. And then I did it for a few other clients, and their response and reaction was so positive and so impactful I sat with that, I meditated, I went into my records, and it was like, you need to create this. And I had resistance, right? I was like, well, Celtic Reiki is its own thing, and Akashic Record, like,
Mhm.
who am I to do this? And it was like, girl, who are you not to do this? Like,
Totally.
you're, yeah, I was just
Me.
like, okay, okay. That was my future self, courageous Kiki. I was like,
Uh,
okay, I'm gonna empower her. So I started, and even again last year before I launched my beta, I was like, no, I'll just do like 8 weeks and I'll do like level one and level two of Celtic Reiki. And it was like, no, stop playing small. The world needs this. And I was like, okay, we're gonna do it. But then it just like the whole curriculum fell into place, like sandwiching the Akashic records in between the trees, like I had been working with. And I was like, I'm just sharing what I've been experiencing and co-creating with the records and the trees. Like it is meant to be birthed into the world and shared. And then it's also going to have a life of its own because people are going to share it with people around them and their clients, and it's going to grow and evolve. And that's really what the creator of Celtic Reiki wanted and it had intended. When he created it and put it out in the world, he intended for people to add their own feel to it, right? Their own flavor and
mhm.
kind of change it. And I remember he came back 2012, I think, and he noticed that his program, it was just rinse, wash, repeat, rinse, wash, repeat. And he understood like people were trying to honor his work and didn't want to change it and were being very respectful. But at the same time, he's like, it's been 14 years now since it was like 1990, like we need to grow and evolve. And then he made it digital before being digital was cool. And he had like a 2 year mastery program where he goes into so many different levels. Um, he's a really funny guy. And he actually was a skeptic before he got into Reiki and was very
Okay.
science based. And so I find his history very fascinating. Um, and it's just like, that's really cool. Yeah, to me, I'm like, who created this? What was their intention? So then that kind of validated me and like gave me permission to evolve and expand the program. And then you and I have had conversations about this, and you're like, well, what do you want in it? Put in it what you wanted for your younger self or your self 2 4 years ago,
Mhm.
what have you. And I was like, oh, I want everything in the kitchen sink. So like I
Yeah.
expand, I was like, let's go deeper on the meridians. I don't want just two. I want to know the whole system. Like I want to know all seven auric fields and how they connect to the body and the different things. And you know, I there is a geeky kiki in here, so I can kind of nerd out on details. They're there if you want them, and you can skip over them.
You're like, I need
So
everything up in here.
I
Okay.
was like, I want the whole shebang, like how to connect, how to clear, what this means. But there's a ton of room for play and empowerment and interpretation of your own, right? It's not you have to do it this way, which I found I've taken 5 different types of Reiki at this point. I love them. And to me, it's all energy. They're just how they're channeled and they each feel differently. And they also show up as different colors for me. So that's super fun. So I know what I'm working with and what's coming in.
Mhm.
And so as a side by side, when I took Celtic Reiki, it was one day live training over Zoom because it was during our COVID time. And we went through all three, we call them levels in the US, they call them degrees in the UK. And it was 17 symbols, 17 trees, it was 3 attunements. I was a bit overwhelmed. It was an amazing day. I love it. I was meant to be there. But then I worked with those trees for about 2 years before I was ready to teach because there were
Mhm.
so many different nuances to the frequencies. And I believe I was meant to do that to get all the downloads and piece things together in the way that I'm now putting together.
I think that anyone who signs up for this program because of the teacher that you are is going to give them permission or an invitation. I like saying invitation instead of permission. Okay.
Yes.
An
Yeah.
invitation to be what I like to call a hodgepodge healer of like,
Yeah.
hey, we don't always have to live in these like very binary structural systems, even if it's not your intention maybe to be a Celtic Reiki practitioner or an Akashic record practitioner. There are so many tools and techniques to enfold into whatever it is you have going on in your realm that's going to support you in all areas.
100%. Like I will say, I think it's week 2 or week 3, we get into scanning and sealing your auric layer, and students were immediately adding that in. like without
Hmm.
even realize they were doing it for themselves, they were doing it for their clients, and they didn't tell their clients. They were just doing it as before they
Hmm.
started their session. And the clients were like, I don't know what you did. This felt so different. Like, I feel great. And it was very subtle, right? You just changed one thing, but they felt even more amazing. And you were already a fantastic healer. So we're just taking it up to that next
Hmm.
level. Like, you already have everything you need inside you. I'm just really guiding you back to you. That's how I look at it. That's like, yes, I'm a master teacher because that's like search engine optimization or like what people might look for. But I'm a spiritual mentor. I'm a guide. I don't even use the word coach anymore because I'm like, I'm not, yes, I love coaches.
A
I'm
mentor.
a mentor. I'm here to
Again.
guide you. Yes. I mean, I loved my coaches when I played sports and they were amazing. And like even watching the Olympics, how many coaches do all of these fantastic, amazing, gifted athletes have? Because they can't see what their coaches can see. They're not looking through that lens. So that's where I get to come in and I look at maybe fine tune, maybe tiny little micro calibrations. So does some coaching happen in the container? Yes, for those that raise their hand. And that's what one of the reasons I offered an option for VIP. So if you want more one-on-one with me, I would meet every other week in between. And those are not cookie cutter sessions. Like it is customized to what you're going through. So it might be personal, it might be business, it might alternate back and forth. Maybe you need deeper healing or just to be held because of what you're navigating
Like
through the
personal
system.
Akashic work.
Right. Or
Yeah.
Celtic Reiki or sound healing to kind of anchor everything in. So that option is there. I have two spaces available for that. And that came through in another meditation. Like people need to have the option to have more access to me and to be held for some of the deeper work. And yeah, there are options. I like giving people options.
Yes, we love options.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, give us the details of when it's starting, where can they sign up?
Yes. So season two is starting
Oh,
in
love
March.
season two.
Season two. Season
Yes,
two.
love seasons. Okay.
Yes. So cart opens when we're recording this tomorrow. So Monday, February 23rd, enrollment opens. So you are invited to enroll if you feel led, if something in this conversation connected with you and you're like, yes, 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 I need all of those things, or even some of those things. Take a look. Let me know if you have questions. This is the Q&A week. I always look at it. And then there's really just 1 week in between before we have our kickoff call and opening ceremony to open the container we'll spend together.
Perfect. Where can everybody go to sign up?
So I can drop the link in the comments, or you can join my email list. So emails go out starting tomorrow with the link.
Okay, cool. And where are all your socials?
Kiki Tyler everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, even YouTube.
Perfect. And I will put
I
all
love
your
it.
information underneath my
Thank you,
videos
thank you,
here.
thank you, thank you.
Okay. Okay.
I love it.
Well, is there anything else you would like to share with us before we finish?
Yes, you don't need to take the training to reconnect with trees. You can do that right now. So, like Sage said, she remembered a tapestry. Maybe you reconnect with the tree in your backyard or on a walk or a hike. Maybe you've been cooped up all winter and really haven't gone outside. I know it's chilly. It's not my favorite either. But even going around the block the other day really cleared some of the mental fog that I was going through and lifted my spirits. So, I would say give yourself permission to be outdoors a bit more. I mean, we're right on the cusp. Spring is coming. Have hope. It's spring, summer, fall. I'm so good. And I think Sage and I have had this
Mhm.
conversation with like the winter saddies.
Yeah. Dormant. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Like I love curling up in a ball and reading my book and having my tea and my cacao. It has been so gray and gloomy. Like we might get snow today. It's not going to really do anything, but it's just been gray and gloomy a lot. I've
Yeah,
got
it's freezing here too.
yeah. And you're
And
in
I'm like,
Georgia.
I'm down in the south.
Right. I know. I got that special sunlight, so I sit in front of that for 20 to 30 minutes in the morning. That helps, doing
Not
things.
like a lizard.
Oh, I need one of
Like I got my
those.
light. Okay.
But no, maybe that's why I've been spending so much time on my red light therapy mat and my sauna blanket because I'm
Oh
trying to
yeah.
stay warm. But
Yeah.
like, what are things that you can do that are super easy, that cost you zero money, right? That refill your cup? Like, what are the little micro joys that you can start banking, right? Like, just really bring your attention. Is it that 5 minutes of peace in the morning before you pop up out of bed? Is it that warm cup of tea? Is it your favorite show that makes you giggle, snuggling with your fur baby or loved one? Like there's so many things. And I don't want to say we take them for granted, but I think we just move so fast that we don't allow it to register. And our body remembers. So when we give it that time and space to remember, our nervous system greatly appreciates that.
Absolutely. Or you can log into Kiki's program and join Kiki and the
Yes.
girlies
Yes.
for some fun. Okay.
And then we have 16 weeks of joy.
Yes. Okay. All right. Well, thank you all. We appreciate you. And thank you,
Yes, thank
Kiki.
you. Much
Yes.
love.
Yes, we love
Love you.
y'all.
Bye.
Bye.